Okay, it is unquestionably true that the harshness of the common law, its unfitness to cope with fraud, its incapacity to do justice in many cases, the defects in its remedies, the opportunities it gave the strong to oppress the weak, its general inadequacy to meet the requirements of equity, greatly contributed to perpetuate the existence of the Chancery Court and to enlarge and justify its jurisdiction, which essentially is saying that the common at law devil Satan system was getting so out of control, equity had to grow exponentially just to stay ahead of it.
And this is under the origin and evolutions of equity.
Yes, the divine law of justice. So again, like Court of King's bench, Court of Queen's bench, they're all capable of doing equity if you can prove you're entitled to it. We just came from a world of filth. You have to prove you're clean. How, Mrs. Smith, how are you proving to me you're clean today? Oh, you have nothing. Thank you. Next.
You still have a birth certificate in your pocket.
Yes, you're still in possession. You've presented nothing to me today that would show evidence that you have perfected an interest, that you are
capable
of handling your affairs in your interest, that you've done anything. Your sob story is beautiful. However, come back when you figure it out. Now, again, it's not up to the king at this point to say to you, hey, this is what you should be doing, and this is what you should be thinking. No, that's actually a bit of a trespass. God, the Creator, wants us to figure that out for ourselves. Mm-hmm. So for even me to be kind of doing what I'm doing, yeah, I'm probably flirting with trespassing, but you know what? I'll deal with that. That's my burden. I would rather help push people through, and then whatever punishments and consequences come my way for trying to teach people essentially what the true equitable nature of the Gospels really are. If I were to be punished for that one day, yeah, no problem. I'll deal with that. But point is, helping people to understand all of Satan's doings and Caesar's influences and all those things that we don't even know are real or true or really exist. No, they are. Why? Because Chancery's telling you that they're real, and Chancery's telling you, hey, come back home, get all nice and squeaky clean so that we can help you. And until you actually do that, we can't help you. And you're going to have to go through a mind full of explosions of failures to go and actually fully, truly appreciate what's going on. Which is, again, why we're not supposed to just take someone who is of, say, bad moral fiber and just give him the principles of equity and ram him through the Stargate. We're not supposed to squirt bad people through to present who we are here today. No. Let's get people cleaned up and let's get them on a much greater path. True, the right way, and then squirt them through the Stargate. Because whatever's on the other side, if that's going to represent what we're doing here, this has to be done a little bit better than what we're typically doing. So and again, back to karmic debt. Back to people having an obligation to give back to us. That's what I was referring to the other night on the video chat. This is about an energy system of exchange. People are coming to us every other day times 20, saying, what can we do to give back? How can we pay you? How can we provide? What can we support? How may we contribute? And the donation concept is just one of many avenues that people can use to contribute back to us. So pay it forward, do whatever you got to do. We don't care. Should I be not just waiting till our estates are through and then providing this free for everybody? Yeah, that's exactly the path I'm on. But until that day where I'm able to liquefy the estates and appropriate the funding, and don't get me wrong, I believe I've already got a couple of victories under my belt respecting that, but I haven't quite dialed in how to do it for something like what we're trying to do here for providing things like server costs or fuel so that I can put in the truck to drive to the grocery store. All of these incidentals, yes, they're on the plate. We are dealing with those. They are real life concerns until we do have access to our estates. And no, trust me, when I figure it out, oh, don't worry, I'll be the first to let you all know. Again, Christ walks into a situation where he said, you guys are all fucking doing it wrong. And they killed him for it. That's essentially what they tried to do to us on paper, or by throwing us in jail and making us look like we're domestic terrorists.
And signed us up for this, and then made us think that by going to church we were
free.
Yeah,
and we were ourselves. Yeah, we're all going to heaven. It's like, oh no, you're not. You serve Satan the entire time. What makes you think you're going to heaven? Give us
When
some.
you signed up for another
Yes.
system, another
Yes. So right
God.
up until that day when you were 15, 16, you were worthy of heaven here. But as soon as you elected to serve Satan, sorry, you jumped out of the boat. And you wanted to. And we could tell by your will and determination that we weren't able to stop you. It was just a matter of you swimming around the world and coming back to the boat, really. Oh, I've learned. I figured it out. Okay, come on back. But yeah, God's law, restoration of the kingdom versus Satan's world. There's only two. That's it, A and B.
It's just so interesting to me that Chancery existed before.
It always has. Chancery existed before Satan.
And it's the king's court.
Yes. So Satan goes and figures out the rules.
Answers to God.
Satan goes and figures out all the rules of Chancery, and then goes to Earth and says, well, I'm going to enslave your best and finest with something I've created because I see what you're looking for, and I will create a mirror system that will confuse your people, and they will never come to you. They will serve me forever. And God's like, well, yeah, fine, you might think that. But not to wreck your party, but there are already seeds there just in case you did do that because we knew you were going to do that. So to show you how strong our people are, despite all your power, look, we're going to take these little fucking ass clowns with nothing. Watch, we're going to actually throw them to the wolves, and because we have what we can do with our chosen one, watch what we can do. And then, ta-da, there we are. Even though we went to the wolves, we still figured it all out and beat Satan at his own fucking game. So now we have a direct link back to Creator, and Satan gets cut right out of it. What need is there of Satan once we reestablish that link? We're never going to be able to serve Satan again. So what's Satan's purpose now? He has none. He only has a purpose. When there are people of lesser mind or weaker energies, vulnerable people are why Satan exists. If everyone was strong and impervious to Satan's spells, would Satan even be here? No. The laws of the universe said we have no need for you now. Mm-hmm. Which is essentially that's happening right now. That door is already being opened. And he's literally being pushed in right now.
The line is very clear.
And the door is being shut right now. Boom. Again, because the watchers are listening to every word. And they're judging us right now, looking at us saying, okay, well, are these people ready? Of course they are. Look what they're doing. Look what they're doing. Look what they're saying. Look what they're thinking. Look what they're fucking sending to the judges. The judges don't even want to respond. These guys are that equipped. They actually just overwhelmed the system. It's like the green ghosts coming off the Pirates of the Caribbean ship that just... That's equity right at that last minute, doing what it needed to do. Notice how it was in green. Mm-hmm. See, even though they're ghosts, they're in green. That's a friendly color. That's not an evil color, even though the image is a ghost. So just because you thought something was evil, give it a chance. Mm-hmm. And by releasing them of their duty, it's the same thing we're doing. We're saying, hey, yeah, even though we fucked up with our certificate and we put you in an incredibly shitty position by babysitting us our whole lives, we're actually releasing you from that obligation now. Which is why all those kings served. What's his name? Aranon or something. Anyway, but he promised to fulfill their contract and release them so that they could go do what they need to do. So we're showing up, releasing the system from its burden. It's like, okay, imagine there's two burdens, and each party doesn't like its burden. But when you do this party goes, oh, I love this burden. And this party goes, oh, I love my burden.
Subrogation.
That's subrogation. Boom. Now the system's happy. It comes together. There's God's kingdom restored. That's literally all this is. And you don't need to go to church to figure this out. Why? Because I didn't.
You've been to church 3 times.
3 times.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So again, chancellors, yeah, the king's right hand when the king was out.
And that's where Chancery Court came from. I just love how that blends. It, like, to understand the origin of the words.
Which is why on TV show Game of Thrones. Yeah. Game of Thrones. It's about 7 kingdoms ran by 7 kings or queens, and the chancellor, the right hand, because the chancellor in that TV show has an incredible role. So it was meant to show you people, hey, the chancellor here has just as much power as the king. because it's the chancellor always advising the king to do what to do. And then the king says, yeah, you're right. You have more wisdom than I do. Thank you. And then the king goes and makes his proclamations. Where's the wisdom? Most of the time it's right there. It's not in the king. And it's religiously based, meaning just a connection with God. It doesn't mean a Jehovah's Witness, Roman Catholic, Protestant, none of that. Just like take that right out of it. It's just a connection. That's all that they're trying to say. Because the legal system is not going to be able to distinguish between Muslim, fucking Islam, or blah, 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 and build all these different laws just for all these things. No, it just says, no, you're all the same. It's a religion.
Yeah.
It's you guys are all the same, whatever it is. But yeah, so we will go and start developing content on where equity comes from. What is it? How is Chancery important? Why have I never heard of this before? And but yeah, to go into a big